guys, good morning on this bank holiday Monday in the UK. I don't even know what the bank holiday is for. We've had so many this year. I think we needed them like a hole in the head with this COVID, because to some people it's been bank holiday Monday every Monday. So I'm actually, I've got the computer on, and I'm on the Box Pro now, which has got its own screen. I've set it up to go live to YouTube public, and I've set it up to go live to Facebook, only I can see. This is the way I test. I don't want to spend 20 minutes and then I just have to delete it, which I'm doing all the time. I'm carrying out tests on the bitrate of the Box Pro. We just had an upgrade about a week ago, upgrading the bitrate. Before that we couldn't upgrade anything. We were stuck with what we had. And if it was too low, it was too low. If it was too high, it was too high. We couldn't do anything about it. But I found out the benefit of us changing the bitrate ourselves already. Because before we had the bitrate change, there was a bit of stuttering going on. When I went into the green screen and started putting backgrounds on, just testing the green screen and doing a demo video, not because of my knowledge in green screens, but I've been with XSplit Premiere now for a long time. They've got an excellent green screen system there, and it's practically done for you. But this is not the case. We've got the green screen and you've got to sort it out yourself. Well, it's easy. I've sorted it out. It's easy. In the demo that I done, everybody could see how it worked, one thing and another. But other people noticed the twitch. And it seemed like it was when I was touch screening the screen to change backgrounds. But I found out since it was nothing to do with that. I think it was the bitrate. Now I've changed the bitrate, it's not happening. And it hasn't happened in the last 3 tests. But I've lowered my bitrate now. No, I am lowered. I put it from 5 back up to 6. Now the recommended one for 1080p is 5. But I had 1 twitch in 5 out of the 3 tests. I tried on 800. I tried at 800, 700, 600, then I went down to 500. And 500 was the only one I had 1 twitch in. So I'm back to 600, it's just a test, I don't have to stay in it. Frames per second with me are 30 at the moment, and it's on the 6000 all the time. It's dropping to 29, then it's 30, so I'm quite happy with that. So right, no good me talking anymore, change a couple of backgrounds and let's see what's happening. So you know the old scheme, the little picture's underneath the big one. In the right hand corner there's a little picture. You touchscreen that. Now I'm in the Chromo key settings page. And there's a key and switch. Press the key and switch to on. And below there's 2 slides, similarity and smoothness. We're not going to touch them because they're the default settings. And they're the best settings for the green screen. So there's another screen, background image. Click background image, and up comes all the background images I've got on the SD card. And excuse my throat for a minute, I've got a bit of a rasp in my throat there. You should see it changing any second now into, on Facebook, you should see it changing now to a scene that I took. I don't know what Sharps Bay or something like that it's called. It's about 30 miles outside Cape Town. But I can't for the life of me remember these things. I should have wrote them down. But I've got a problem. My wife has just started the process of dementia. She's got Alzheimer's and she's got another one, which, she's alert as you can be. She can remember things that happened 60 years ago. but she can't remember anything that happened yesterday. So we're in the safe zone at the moment. She remembered all her friends, everybody she knew before that. But she keeps asking me the same questions every day. What day is it and all that caper. So the part of her brain that saves memories and that is not working. No, it's working for what she had in there before. It's like a tape recorder. The tape recorder is working, it's recording, and then all of a sudden tape come to an end, and once she's putting tapes in, they're not working. That's all that's happening, is it's not working now. I don't like talking about my wife's health, but she's perfectly fit other than that. And she's got a good carer in me. And we're both pensioners, right? I'm 83 and the wife is 81. And the joke of this is care allowance. Do you know how much care allowance I get for looking after my wife? Bearing the fact that I'm 83 and my wife is 81. If I told you £30 a week, would you believe me? Would you believe me? Would you Adam and Eve me? It's a joke. And the gentleman who was in the house was explaining it to me. It was £60 and a few shillings up to the pension age. And when she was a pensioner, it was reverted to £30 and a couple of shillings. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Considering that pensioners in the UK are the lowest paid pensioners in Europe. Can you imagine that in Europe? When all these countries years ago, Spain, France, and all these Eastern European countries, which we looked on as, the Eastern European countries, we looked on as third party countries. They're all getting a bigger pension than we're getting in the UK. Oh my God. And there's people in the UK jealousy because we're actually getting something, saying that the pensioners are well looked after. It's a joke. Ask them in the Irish Republic. Ask them. Ask the boys. They laugh at you, man. They laugh at you. An old age pensioner in Great Britain now can't afford to go down the pub. Old age pensioners years ago used to go down and have 1 or 2 pints every day, see their old friends and pop home, living on their own. You can imagine a gentleman old age pensioner now, you go down. He can't go down once a week now. So he's a prisoner in his own home. I tell you what, good job I'm not a coward diplomat or a MP. Then there'd be trouble. Oh my God. Anyway, let's get on with changing backgrounds before I get the sack. Right, background image. Right. This is the one I do most of my talking about. This is the waterfront in Cape Town in South Africa. If you look behind me, you can see Tabletop Mountain, the famous flat top mountain in Cape Town. This is probably the best view that you get in this part of Cape Town. Where I'm sitting now was a cafe. Well, the cafe's still there, where I filmed this, and me and the wife sat there one day with a couple of friends, and as I say, this is an affluent part of South Africa, of Cape Town, and the ones that were gaining from the affluence was the seagulls. They come down in their hordes. They stole my cod, they stole my chips, they stole the wife's cod, and everybody was getting it, and everybody was laughing. They were so used to it. They were baiting them. Suddenly, I can't believe it. They were like human beings. They're just coming down, taking it off the plate and saying thank you and flying away. So with that bad memory of a nice spot, I'll take you to my front room, and I'll repeat the story about the background, the wall, the decoration. The wife is a minimalist, and she just wanted a painted wall with barely any pictures on it. And I said, I've got to put up 1 or 2, my love. And she said, okay, darling, but don't put too many. I said, okay, my love, again. I bet if she could hear me now, she'd kill me. Same again, one of the pictures that's there. Zoomed in. No stories to tell, except the fact that I took all of these pictures that we're showing you now. And if I show you a picture that I didn't take, I will tell you who took it. No, I never took these. These are off the internet. Desert island scenes. Lovely. And as I look out the window today, now we've had a cracking weekend in Swansea in South Wales. Well, yesterday the sun was tremendous. I burnt the top of my head, in fact. Really crazy. 10 minutes in the sun and my head was blinking, frying. But there was a little bit of cloud around, which helped to cool it for a minute. Every now and again the sun would go behind the cloud and we were delighted. Today is a lovely day. I've just done a bit of shopping now. It's 5 to 12 or thereabouts. 11:57 to be honest with you. And it's been nice and sunny. There's a little breeze out. I went shopping in a short sleeve shirt and in the shade it was a little bit chilly, but once the sun hits you, you start frying again. And that's not bad for the end of August. Coming up to the 1st of September, because everybody, when we were kids, you think August bank holidays. That's when the kids went on holiday. You thought, oh, I can't wait for August to be hot. Just remember, we're 3 months before be ahead of the hottest day in June. We're nearly 3 months. So we're starting to get colder. Another 3 months we'll be in winter. In the height of winter. I got no knowledge on weather, lads, so take what I'm saying as a pinch of flipping salt. So because it's chilly, we've just gone indoors, but we can see it's a lovely blue sky outside, so it makes us a bit jealous, so I think we'll pop out again. Folks, I've got to be honest with you, the touchscreen on this isn't great. Some parts it is, but the part where I've got to click on the background is alright, Dadaji. If I use a mouse, well, the trouble is I've got one mouse, a USB mouse, connected to the computer now. So I'm going to have to buy another one to attach to this Yola box on its own. It warrants a mouse because everything is silent. I've noticed that when I go out with the camera on the tripod, with the Yola box on the tripod, the sound of me tapping the Yola box with my finger sounds like a hard thud on the finished video. So I don't want that happening. Another background now that all intelligent people put behind them when you see them on the TV and breakfast TV. But seeing as I'm not intelligent, I will quickly jump away from that. So here we go, where are we now? There's a lot of water there, and there's a lot of boats there, and I'll leave you to guess where it is while I change over. I got all sorts of backgrounds, blue skies. Right guys, this is where I tell you a little story. Hello?
If I ring our mobile on the house phone, will it cost?
Say it again.
If I ring a mobile on the house phone,
Who are you going to phone?
I was going to phone Jen.
Well, fetch the mobile up to me and I'll do it for you and you can take it back down. I'm doing something, I'm right in the middle of a video. Right. This is the British Tanker Company. Why? Just pull the lead out. It's by the, it's on that table. Powering up. It's on it, man. Okay, you'll have to be careful. I'm making a video, you're talking to the public and I can't wait to tell you the story, guys, but here we are, the wife is coming up.
On the stairs now and talk.
No, you take it down. You can take it down. I'll just tell you what to do. You've got to wait for it to come on for a second.
It's lovely up here, mine, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm making a video here. I'm just talking, so I should have paused it, by right? What you done at that green screen and
Right.
fall down?
Oh, we're on the net a long time. Brother-in-law just died, somebody else is two people and they're in their house, you know.
Who's this now?
Lynette's brother-in-law just died.
Oh, she haven't told you, has she?
No, I phoned her. Yeah.
Oh, did she talk to you?
Yeah, looking at the car. She said she loved me and all that nonsense. Sorry, she hadn't rang. She's had lots of problems. Oh, she's had loads wrong with her.
This takes a long time to come on.
Shall I ring tonight? I said, leave it tonight, Lynette. I said, never mind tomorrow. I said, we'll ring in the week. All right, she said. Somebody looking at a car. Sorry, man, I left this afternoon, man.
Well, why didn't you do it then?
I said to get along.
Oh, leave it there then. I'll go on and do it this afternoon after dinner.
I phoned her on before, a bit automatic.
All right, go on. You go and phone her on, and when I come down, I'll
Yeah,
do it.
drag me over here.
No, I didn't. You dragged me.
No, I said, come up here.
You stopped my video.
Bit of exercise, I suppose, down the stairs, isn't it? No, she tells Jen to run it. I don't know to know run it first. I'll get something done in the phone.
Oh, God. Sorry, folks. This is what they call live video. The photo behind me is a photo of the British oil tanker. The British oil tanker. And the name of the firm was the British Tanker Company. And the name of the oil tanker was the British Resource. In 1953, I was a telegraph boy in Swansea with a push bike. And you graduated from the push bike to the motorbike. But I never got to that stage. I was on the push bike. And I took a telegraph over to the Queen's Dock in Swansea, which is the terminal for the oil tankers. And when I got there, I recognised a young lad that I knew from Swansea on board. And we was having a chat with him. He said, oh, it's a lovely life. They're looking for a cabin boy. And I had the post office uniform on. And I said, can I see the captain? He said, yeah, well, you've seen him. Take the telegraph to him. So I took the telegraph or telegram to the skipper. I had a chat with him. I said, any chance of having a job as a cabin boy? And he laughed at me. He looked at me in the post office uniform and laughed at me. He said, and he took it as a joke, but he said, you'd have to go through the poll, he said. If you go to the shipping pool now in Swansea, they'd probably want a letter of your parents. I told him my age of consent. They'll make you out a book, a shipping book or seaman's book. And you come over here before 9 in the morning, and we sailed at 9. So I went out there, not being serious, but I thought about it. And a cousin of mine was in the Merchant Navy and he happened to be home. and I seen him in the afternoon and told him, and he lent me a bag, seaman's bag, long bag, and one of the boys made me a letter out assuming it was from my parents, and I took it to the pool and I accepted it, and they gave me the book, and I went over in the morning. I had to slip out of the house, but I could only slip out in my post office uniform because my father used to get me up and he would never have let me go to sea, or my mother. He used to get me up and give me my breakfast before he went to work, and he'd see me through the door. So 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm standing outside the house in my post office uniform. So out I go. I goes and gets the bag, which I did, with a few items of socks and underwear and that. And in them days we never had a lot of underwear. We had like 2 pairs of underpants or something like that, and the odd vest if we had one. I slipped out the door with the bag and made my own way over to the Queen's Dock, and it was 9 o'clock there I got there. And the oil tanker was in the lock gates. But the lock gates were filling up, and as soon as they were full up, it was going through. So I managed to jump on from the side of the quay onto the oil tanker, and that was the start of a 9-month trip. I never knew it was for 9 months, but when you sign on that you can't pay off until you actually return to the UK. Now today, I know people that's on sea today, modern times, they got contracts, and every 3 months or so they got to fly them home from whatever country it is in the world for a couple of weeks off. That's what the contracts are like today, but in them days, no, you signed on, and you were stuck with it until you come back to a British port. Well, practically went around the world twice in that 9 months, and it used to go, they were small enough, although this was the biggest oil tanker around at the time, the British Resource, that was the standard big size, so they could go through the canal. But now, 2 years later, after that trip, the guy in charge in Egypt closed the canal, the Suez Canal, blocked it up with other sunk ships in there to stop shipping going through there. So the oil tanker firms had to build super tankers to make it worth their while to go right round the long way. So that was the end of the small oil tankers, but at that time this was one of the biggest around. And the stories I could tell you about that oil tanker, I could write a book on the oil tanker itself, the 9-month trip. I mean, it was a part of my life I'll never forget. It was hard. There was hardly any money. When I paid off, I never had a shilling. I walked into the house with my mother. My mother loved to see me, obviously, but my father was still a bit, he threatened that I wasn't allowed to go back to the house again, but he relented for my mother's sake. And I walked into the house, borrowing money off my mother the day I got home. That's the way things were in them days. I love my parents. My father was hard. My mother was hard. My mother would look at me and say, "Don't even think it." She had the best right hook in the planet, and it never done any harm. Never done any harm. So all these people who say you can't slap your child, oh my God, if she hadn't slapped me, I'd have been duller than I am now. Anyway, pass on from that little bit of private history. Sorry about the intervention with my wife. She didn't realise I was making a video when she was doing all that talking. And of course she's not into videos anyway. I've told this story many times during this test. This is Swansea's Blackpool Tower, and you laugh, it's just a bridge. Well, that bridge had caused some controversy in Swansea. This bit of sand here that you see running along here, the slip, just across the other side of that bridge is the Victoria Park and the Patty Pavilion. Madam Patty, the singer, donated the Patty Pavilion to Swansea in the 1800s. Victoria Gardens, beautiful clock, ornament clock in there made of flowers. And in between that clock at the Victoria Gardens and this sand was Swansea Baths. There was a swimming pool there. There were ladies and gents toilets, beautiful, top class. In the parapets, in them arches, this side of the road and the other side of the road were businesses, shops, cafes, always cafes, ice cream sellers and one thing. There were shows on the fairgrounds on the beach. There were donkey rides. In the summer, every day, you couldn't see that sand. It was full of people, thousands of people. And it needed a few repairs, the bridge did. Health and safety people come into this now. So they put it out to tender, and they had tenders in the 140s, thousands and one thing and another. Well, that's what we were told. And they decided it was cheaper to pull it down than to have it repaired. They pulled it down and they planted it on the promenade, which is a couple of miles down the road, on the walkway. So you can still walk over the bridge, but it's down on the walkway. The two parapets are still there, covered in scaffolding, which looks terrible. Looks like a building site that's closed down. Please, please, Swansea, put the bridge back. That's our Blackpool Tower. Everybody loved to see that. Everybody loved to cross over on it. Everybody loved to have their photo taken on it. Look at that beach now. That's typical of what it's like every day, even during this heat wave we got now. You'll see the odd bod walking the dog up there. There's not a cafe. You can walk for miles. There's no toilets. It's a sin. It's a sin. Okay, that's my other gripe gone. Don't forget, all the time now I'm looking for twitches in the film, in the video, which I'm trying to avoid, obviously. Now this is one bookcase I do love. This is my own bookcase. And if you look in the background, you can see books on Staffords. You can see a picture of me and the wife each side. But to be honest with you, I ain't got a bookcase in the house. I made this up. By using green screen method, I put books on there and put them in the right shelves. And I put the photos up there. The things you can do with a green screen are marvellous. So folks, that's false as well. And we'll have another look now. See if I can shove another one in. I can shove loads of skies and God knows what. I'll shove one of Brian Owens's canal pictures in here. Brian Owen is a mate of mine in Staffordshire Terriers. He takes a few photos now and again. He's well known for it. He's brilliant, in fact. And I noticed he'd taken a few photos of canals and that, and we love canals in Wales. We've got them ourselves in Swansea. Same arches, same bridges, same type. In fact, I swear I'm in Swansea now looking at it. And they've got the same up there. But we filled ours in. We filled most of it in. To everybody's dismay. That would have been a feature. But there you are. Now we go from there. I think I'll try another one of Brian's. I call this Where the River Bends. Remember that film, John Wayne? Where the River Bends. That was in my early childhood. I seen that film. And it was one of the best westerns out at the time. And it's still good now. It's not as dull as most of John Wayne's films. Brilliant. Well guys, I've tried my best. The only reason I'm doing this is to go now onto the computer and see if there's any twitches. You know, you'll see flashes during the videoing. You will see the occasional flash when the picture's changing, when the background's changing. I can't remember the words for it now. There's a word, technical word for it. I says glitches. stuttering, I say all sorts of things. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to leave you now. Arrivederci. Buonasera, señorita, buonasera. Much like you. Okay, Scouts. And I'll speak to you again, lads. Thank you, guys.